What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more content for you guys, and we have got one hell of an action-packed stream for you guys today. We got a very special guest coming on very soon. We got a Tottenham update with various different topics, and I guess we've got to get in and talk about the game again yesterday, Sim. But, you know, morning, well, I say morning, afternoon after the night before, Spurs out of the Carabao Cup. I think it's hard to...
Are you bothered about it?
I am bothered, yeah. I'm bothered, you know, after every time Spurs lose, and particularly go out a cup, you know, I thought it was a genuine chance to win a trophy, even though there are, you know, other big teams in there. And I thought as well, there was an opportunity for us yesterday. I felt it, you know, definitely towards the end of the first half. You know, I thought Spurs were well in the game, and then that second goal kind of knocked the stuffing out of us.
Am I right in saying your pre-season prediction was Spurs to win the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, you are right in saying that, yeah. That's one prediction down the drain.
I think I said semi-final. So I
Two predictions down the drain then.
Didn't quite make it. But I did say I felt... when if you go back to the pre-season predictions, I haven't watched it back, but I remember what I said. I said, I just feel... in this part of the season, Frank won't have got the team going yet. And if we do get a tough tie, and I think I specifically said something like St. James's Park away, I think we'll probably end up going out early.
Oh, you must be the oracle, man.
I think that's what I said. I have to watch it back. I'm pretty sure I said something similar to that. And that has come to pass. But I do think, you know, FA Cup, if we get our act together second half of the season, not to say we're doing badly now. I think we're doing okay, but we're just not clicking up front yet properly. I think second half of the season... I think once we've got to grips with how Frank really wants to attack, and maybe we get an attacker in January, who knows? We're going to have Solanke back, hopefully Decky back. I think we can have a really good go at the FA Cup. I really do. Yeah.
I mean, well, last night I felt like there was a few things to take away from that performance in a positive light. However, at the end of the day, you know, when you lose the game, it's hard to take too many positives from it. But I felt like at times we did show maybe our attacking prowess and being able to break down an opposition.
Yeah, I think there was some positives. I think, you know, after the Everton game, I was talking about I'm struggling to see, you know, the vision for Frank going forward. What are we attempting to do? I think I'm starting to sing a bit more now, but he has changed it. He's changed it to this, you know, in a build-up setup, which we did see a bit more in pre-season. I don't know why, but during the season he went away from it, and you know, build-up has been extremely stodgy for large parts of the season. And I think that Monaco game was a breaking point for him, because we really struggled in that game. We were lucky to get away with the point. We all know that. And then he changed it up after that. He said he was going to change it up structurally, and I think the last two games has been better. Has been better in possession, not perfect, but I think there's something that we're building towards. I feel.
Yeah.
I feel there's. I think getting Xavi, and on Sunday it was Kudus. On last night it was Bergvall. Getting Xavi closer to these creative players, and I think that's a really good move, and I think they're getting found in between the lines a bit more. I think having Brennan stretching us on the right is helping us a bit, although, you know, we want to see more from him, but he's getting more involved. I do think the problem in this formation, though, is on the left, because at the moment we don't really have a threat there, because Spencer's holding the width on that side, and he's not really a threat going forward. And then the other player is either it was Bergvall yesterday, and it was Xavi on Sunday. They're not obviously going to go. They're obviously tasked with being more central. That's how the build-up is operating at the moment. So they're not really offering a wide threat. So there are still problems, but I definitely liked it better. I think we were keeping the ball a lot better. I think we were building up a lot better. We were playing through the opposition a lot better. So there's positive signs. Still a lot of work to do, though.
Yeah, 100%. But I guess the real positive thing is that he's working on it, evidently trying to find solutions, and things are getting better slowly but surely, and hopefully we'll get there. We'll get there in the end, like I keep saying. But at the end of the day, we lost and we went out. So we still need to do a lot better. But we've got a very special guest to bring on today. He goes by the name of Bobby Stewart, the Spurs drummer, sitting at the top of 324. I should say standing at the top of 324 with that loud drum in the Spurs stadium. So we're going to talk to him about
without knowing who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to get the atmosphere pumping at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But let's bring him on. Bobby, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you both? You all right?
I can't hear him.
You can't
Can you
hear
hear me?
No, he's not plugging. It's his fault. Sorry. No.
Let's start that again, Bobby. Bobby, how you doing,
right.
mate?
It's all good. Is it all? Oh, look, I put a mic on. I don't know if I'm going to get feedback. If I do, tell me. But are you all right?
No, you're sounding good, mate. You're sounding good. You're sounding good.
Very well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure, boys.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I guess we got to get into last night, going out the Carabao Cup. Like, what's your thoughts on Thomas Frank so far?
Do you know what? Like, so before Ange, I wanted Frank, and I love him, and I want him to do well. And it's like, when I say this, you've got to look at the league position. You've got to look at how we're doing. We're doing fine, right? We're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I look here and I think he's making decisions that are not Thomas Frank to me. Like some of his decisions, the way we're playing, like that wasn't Thomas Frank at Brentford. And it's frustrating me at times, but I'm not moaning. I know I sound like I'm not moaning. I'm happy.
What kind of decisions are you talking about? Like team selection or approach? What specifically do you
just the way we play at times. Like I'd love us to be able to play through the middle sometimes. So we've been given. I know Xavi wasn't great last night, but in previous games we've been giving him stick. But actually, I think there's been balls on to play it in the middle, and the players just haven't been because they've been going down the wing or. And I just think maybe the way I think he's making a solid defence. That's his priority, and then the rest will come as the players that we've got to come back in. Obviously, injuries and that, but it's a weird one because it doesn't feel great at times, and yet we're in a good league position. We're doing all right in the Champions League, so. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think it's just like the early days of a tenure. He's trying to work out the best solutions for Spurs to go forward. And I think you're 100% right in what you're saying, trying to get us solid and then the rest will come eventually. But I did see some positives last night, like we're trying to play through the middle a bit more. And I think we found a bit of success of it last night. So
that's a weird thing. But like last night, at times, I thought we played some really good football. And I thought we were actually better than we have been most season. And then... and then we lose 2-0. It's
just the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? But look, let's talk about the atmosphere at Spurs because you've been doing such a great job over a number of years now at the 324. So we sit 324, but we're just ahead of you. So we're in the sitting section, just like below the standing section, quite high up. And we hear you making a racket every game. And I know there's been a bit of discourse about fans on the other side of the South Stand where they could hear last year, but this year they're saying they can't hear it. And I'm not really sure what's going on from that aspect. But from your perspective, because the way I look at it is like it's really hard to get atmosphere going at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I'm a massive advocate of atmosphere. Every time I'm not at a game, the first thing I say to Sim's like, how's the atmosphere? And I'm always trying to get it going and start singing and everything like that. But I can probably count on my hand the number of times it's been like a really good atmosphere at Tottenham, where it was like Bodo semi-final last year, Arsenal when we won 3-0. Those are the ones that really like kind of stand out. But from your perspective, like, because you're in the thick of it at 324, where everyone. How long have you
been drummer for? How long has it been?
It's been like 3 years now, hasn't it?
So it's been. Well, I've been doing it for. Last year was my first official year of it. Being the drummer. The year before, so I think was it 2 or 3 years? No, I think it's been 2 now because the year before that was a guy called Mike. He is the original drummer.
Oh, I see.
And he moved to Italy. I got look, mate. I am so lucky. Like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I said to myself when I was 28 that I'm gonna get a season ticket at Spurs by the time I'm 30, and by the time I was 30, I'm the whatever word Tottenham drummer. And I can't believe it. I basically replied to a tweet. Spurs song sheet. I followed them for years. They come up with all the songs. I replied to a tweet that they needed a drummer for the Liverpool game. when we won with the dodgy offside. And this links in well to Saturday because that was a 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday. Naturally, good atmosphere, right? Playing Liverpool. And I did something that Mike, brilliant drummer, but I did something I don't think Mike had done before. Is outside 3-2-4, I had the drum and I drummed in the concourse. Obviously the Ange song that we all know and that a lot of people think is all I can do. So I was drumming away at that, and lots of videos went like I say Spurs viral because it's not exactly viral, but it's within Spurs fans. They sort of got out there, and then I think created a good atmosphere. And then what did me a favour was Boxing Day. I think we played Bournemouth, and I was in the ground. I remember, and I would go. When I didn't have a season ticket, I went most games, and I saw them put out a tweet saying that the drum's broken. I thought, how's the drum broken? Like, it's not going to be one side's, it's not going to be both sides. But what it was, the strap was broken. So I was like, I'll give it a go if he wants. So they just said, yeah, sure, fine. So I went over to it and I took my key ring off, put it around the strap, and I think the guys that had sort of got me in the first time just loved the fact that I was like, no, we'll make it work, right? We'll find a way. And then I filled in about another 4 or 5 times the rest of that season, I think. And then I was in Mexico on holiday, and I broke my hand. And about an hour after I'd broken my hand, I got a text come through saying, "Do you want to be the official drummer next year?" I was like, "I've got 8 weeks to heal the injury." But yeah, it's a tough gig at times. I won't lie. And there are times when I see certain people around me that they don't turn up to not turn up, but it's a lot easier for other people if they can't make a game to stick their ticket on the exchange. There was times last season where I was like, oh, I've got to go up there again. Like, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I'm so lucky to have the season ticket, from being a kid, that's what I wanted. But yeah, it's a tough gig at times, but I tell you what, boys, Bilbao, and since then that Brighton game, and obviously your video, like I've rewatched that, and I know it's not me, it's the atmosphere around us. Best day of my life, like amazing.
Do you remember the old drummer at the old White Hart Lane? Is that, did you draw inspiration from that?
Yeah. So interestingly, there's been a lot of comments about us trying to start Thomas Frank's Blue Army. And obviously that comes from Harry Redknapp's Blue Army, and he was banging away. And it's really interesting because before Spurs, I also follow, and I know this is controversial when people have 2 clubs, but I lived in Kent, and I also follow Tunbridge Angels in the National League South. And I was drumming at Tunbridge Angels. And especially in non-league and in the league, there's lots of like beats and rhythm like that's come from the European world of drumming, but in England traditionally it was just like bash 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 bash, and that's I think his name was Dan.
The drummer, yeah.
And I don't know if does he still go to games? Does he? Because
I don't think so. I mean, I remember years ago I was speaking to him, and he was saying I think there was a situation where he was getting into Tottenham for free.
I've heard this story, yeah.
He was getting into Tottenham for free because he was, building up the atmosphere at the old White Hart Lane. And then they cottoned onto it, and then they said, look, if you want to start coming in, you've got to start paying. And he was like, look, I'm doing such a great job for the fans. I'm starting all the atmosphere. And basically, I don't know if he's been back since, maybe on a few occasions, but not on a regularity, I don't think.
I'd love to reach out to him, and just because like everyone talks so fondly of him, and just to meet him and chat to him, and yeah, I can confirm I do not get him for free. I have to pay my way.
You should.
Yeah. Thank you. No, but yeah. So what we were saying about the drums, it's a lot more. I think we overcomplicate it at times now, and a lot of our Spurs songs aren't. And this is something I wanted to talk about as well to the fan bases. We've got to remember a lot of our songs aren't actually very drummable. We Are Tottenham, as an example. They're all quite slow, and that's why we're trying to get some new ones on, and that's why the Ange one. Unfortunately, that's why it just seemed not me being a go-to. Because the other thing people need to remember as well, and I mean this in a lovely way, a drum doesn't start a song. A drum starts Tottenham, but all the other songs, the drum accompanies it. So what we need, linked into the conversation that we're having online, and everything at the moment, is we just need people to be brave and just sing. And I promise you, if you sing, you won't be on your own.
Yeah. What do you think the actual problem is at Spurs? Because ever since moving into the stadium, like I said before, it's like we can never, like it's all very well and good for the big games, people getting up for it, like a Europa League semi-final, North London derby. But way too often on a week-to-week basis, it's like a bit of a morgue in there at times. It's like, in your opinion, what do you think we can do? And what do you think the club can do to help us improve the atmosphere?
One thing to remember, but we don't want to use this as an excuse, is that most Premier League clubs have this problem, I think, deep down. Some might not reveal it, but every away fan section sings "Is this a library?" Really, wherever you go.
Yeah.
So I think there's a mixture of elements. I think the fact that you probably don't have season ticket holders going religiously every game, like back in the day, and that comes down to price, comes down to the cost of the day. Because you think about it, it's, you know, we've all got season tickets, but if, like, so for example, for the Chelsea game, a couple of my mates that I've been mates with Tottenham for years, they're coming along, we're going to have a few beers and stuff, and you look at it, it's expensive day out. And so I think there's an element of that whole price thing. I think in the South Stand, the lack of a singing section is the main thing. So we are the singing section in 324. We're at the top. It's evident that the drum noise doesn't travel because in Bilbao, I was very, very, very lucky to be on the front row. And listening back to watching videos back, you can hear it on the telly. I don't know about you boys. I know you were sort of over to my right, but I presume you could hear the drum from where you were. I don't know, but it seemed to be everyone around could hear it. Now that's the final, right? It's going to be a big atmosphere, but I think location. We'd love the club to get on board, having like at one side of the South Stand, having like a singing section that goes top to bottom. Because then that way the sound will travel further, and naturally then that will filter out. And although you two do a very good job from where you sit in the atmosphere, I do think having the middle of that South Stand's supposed to be a wall of noise, isn't it? And yet we've got a seated section right in the middle. And I do. If you've got a football game, you watch it how you want. That is your prerogative. That's your right. I would never say you've got to sing, you've got to stand up, because that's entirely up to you. But I do think there's places in the stadium for that. And I think that South Stand just needs to be a wall of noise. And imagine how good that South Stand would be. Because Arsenal 3-0, when we beat them that Thursday night or whatever it was, the 8 o'clock kickoff to get the Champions League, that atmosphere was insane. Bodo, even Brighton a bit at the start, but obviously that filtered out quite quickly. But it's been amazing. And I think the frustration from the fans that really want to get the atmosphere going is that we just, and as you boys know, we know how good it could be week in, week out. But to answer your question, one other thing as well, whilst it's linked into that question, I have this gripe with all football fans, right? And not just Tottenham. We have this, like, and we have this thing, like the kudos chant, right? I think it's a great chant. Sing it from the start. And you go sing it and people go, we ain't done nothing yet. You ain't done this, you done that. But he might do if we start singing his name.
Yeah.
And I'd love to change that attitude of, let's wait until Micky van der Ven does a great tackle. Let's wait until Kudos does an assist. No, imagine if you're Kudos, like if he's having a bit of a 50-50 game and then he hears the whole stadium sing his name, it's going to bring him up. And so one thing from this, if people listen to it, please just be behind them from the start, and rather than wait for them to do something, then it goes hand in hand.
Sounds like he's been talking to Mr. Box Office.
I 100% agree with that, because like back when I started getting into football, when I started going real home and away was under Martin Yole back in those days, and atmosphere, no matter who you played. I remember a Southend at home in the Carabao or the League Cup.
That was my first game.
Was that your first game?
Yeah, that was random that you chose that one.
But I just that game just really stands out to me because the atmosphere was just electric that day. But if that game was played now, it would just be like dead. The stadium would be like so many empty seats as well, and like no one would be up for it. No one would be singing, and just people would have the expectancy to win. And fair enough, it's against Southend, but the fans should be the ones making the first move every time. It shouldn't be the players in the team. Like, I don't get this whole narrative around it now saying like, oh, but they don't deserve us to sing. What do you mean they don't deserve you to sing?
They say they need to give us something to cheer about.
Exactly. Like we should be, our role of supporters are to cheer on the team and spur them on to make them play better. That's the role.
Supporters.
Exactly.
That's what we are. We've got to support them. It's really funny as well, linked into that, you said Southend, because that was my first game, because I live in Southend. And I never, moving from Tunbridge to Southend, I never really got involved in Southend United, but we got tickets in. My dad was a season ticket holder for years in the Shelf. Got tickets in the Shelf, and I fell in love with White Hart Lane from that atmosphere that day. Like, and I've been to other grounds. I've never had, that game. Fell in love with it, and whereas if I came now the same age to say we played Southend in the same situation, exactly as you said there, would I fall in love with it? I don't know. If I was that age back then,
So do you have a point of contact at the club that you can talk to, or you just go through Spurs song sheets?
Yeah, no. So we're working. So we've got a guy called Jake. He's brilliant. He works in the club and events team. He manages me. Like he provides me with the drum. He's a really good guy, and he's the good thing about it. He's a Spurs fan through and through, which you always want in those roles, right? So he's our contact. I work alongside or like speak to Return of the Shelf, Spurs song sheet. And then various other people, Billy T on Twitter. That's recently got to speak to him. And basically, we all want the same thing. We all want that singing section. If you haven't seen, I'm sure people have listened to this. If you haven't seen it already, go on to Return of the Shelf's Twitter page or X page, and he's got a great presentation that he put out last year of the idea. We tried it. If people remember, and this is something as well to say because I've never had a voice for this. Do you remember when we played Roma? And they trialled that singing section, they put us at the front, but they half-heartedly did it. And unfortunately, people had already bought their tickets. So there was and I'm sure he's a lovely guy because we're both Spurs fans, but there was people down there that didn't know. AD is a season ticket holder. I understand it. I get it. Like, he's in his seat and there's a drum. He had no idea that there's a drum there. And suddenly he's got to watch a game with a drum in his ear and he's telling us to go away and all that. And it was a bit like, well, hang on, mate, like, I haven't just rocked up with a drum. You can't. Have you seen the security? I'm here for a reason. And so it just wasn't really promoted that great. So what we're doing is now we've got the new regime at the club. We're trying again to work with them and just see if they can get on board it. Because Vinay has said that this is what he wants to do, and I've been assured from the club that this is something they're going to make a priority. So we can just see if that's the case. I really hope.
So have they been receptive to a lot of your suggestions, of changes?
If Return of the Shelf was to answer this, he'd probably say no because they were working together, and then they cut ties and become really fan groups. From myself, I'm sort of in the middle with this because I am there. Although I've been placed there through those groups, I'm there for the club, so I've got certain rules and restrictions. So, for example, I can't drum to the Y word, and I've got to respect the club. And also because I love doing it, and I think it's better to have a drum with certain limitations than it is to not have one at all. Although a lot of people disagree with that. People love my drums.
Is that the only restriction you have about that word?
Well, originally, so when they originally got the drum in, the original press thing with it was that it's an accompaniment. So the whole instruction to Mike and to myself is don't do it too much, because it was and that's never changed. But what has changed is that I don't follow that rule anymore. So I'll just drum along to anything that I can. And as you'll know, in Bilbao, just you're not going to swear. I'm doing all day, But yeah, at the ground at home, obviously I follow the Y word rule, which I fully understand. But yeah, other than that, I just drum as much as I can now. And I think because most people, unless you look on Twitter, but most people know I'm there now. They know the drum's there. So I think most people understand there's a drum. And do you know what the best thing is? The loveliest thing is, I think they need to put a warning on these tickets for people's ears. But if people around me sell their ticket on the exchange, obviously they're being told they're in the singing section, but they don't know next to the drum. And especially since the whole Richarlison jumping in the crowd and all that last year, it's so lovely because I've had a couple of people this year, and then when they sit there, their eyes light up. Yeah, and it's not me, it's a drum, but it's just so nice to they're like, oh my God. And it's a nice feeling knowing that you've made their day extra special. One day someone will be like, oh my God, no. But it's a good positive thing, yeah. So
yeah, it's brilliant because when in that period where we didn't have a drum, back end of White Hart Lane, beginning of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I said it constantly, let's get the drum back. That's one way to improve that atmosphere. And I'm so glad that it is back. I just feel like I don't know what needs to change, but something needs to change. It's not you because you're doing a great job. It's just the rest of the fans in the South Stand. And I feel like a lot of people sit in the South Stand because they know they want to experience the atmosphere, but don't necessarily want to take part.
Yeah, I think that can be a thing. I think when certain games, like naturally, if you've got a season ticket and you know you've got to pick and choose a couple of games, you're probably going to pick Chelsea, Arsenal over Villa or whoever. So naturally, then you get people, and do you know what? It's 50-50 because I found last year some of the Europa games, where naturally at the back it didn't have so many people, where it didn't sell out. Actually, some of the atmospheres were great because you had people there for the first time and they were loving it, they're on board. But other times, you have people there for the first time and they don't know that they can sing and they won't be on their own. I think, and the answer is the singing section, location of the drum, because I'm in the middle of 3-2-4, so the sound gets dampened, which is why in the West Stand they can hear me. Because I've got someone that sits in the premium bit of the West Stand, and he can always hear me again. But you might people on the right in the next say they can't hear. I think being down the front or right at the back would help. A bigger drum would help, but I haven't got space. I already have to protect myself when we score from the railing and the drum where it's positioned, so that's already. I can't go any bigger with the drum, but ideally we'd like to go bigger if we was in a different location. So they're all things we're working on. And to answer your question a while back about the club being reciprocal to it, so I've done the drum, I've done it for a season, obviously I've had people, but this is now where I've started to get involved in that, and I've started to ask questions, whereas beforehand I was just doing it. And so far, from my experience, the club have said, great, where do you think would work? And that's not the club, that's the people that's like where to then take it to the club. So my job at the moment is from feedback, if anyone wants to say as well, to look at where's best for me to be located, and the singing section as a whole. Now we know ideally we want that on the side, and I can't remember the numbers, but if you look at the south stand on the left, but is there a short-term option until that happens properly? There's lots of things to look at. What I'm going to do for the Chelsea game is I'm going to try to, because it's standing up there, switch with the person on the end. So if I go on the end by the steps, at least, I know it sounds silly, but I think that will make a difference because then the sound's going down the steps. But we'll see. Yeah. So when people say they can't hear or whatever, I am trying. I'm trying very hard.
In terms of
just science.
In terms of new songs you're talking about, you got any ideas? Anything you can give to any ideas? Yeah.
So this is another little gripe that I got, right? So I think like any football song, 9 times out of 10 is another club's done it first, right? And that's us Spurs fans, and I love every single one of us. But we have this thing where, oh no, we can't do that. It's a Palace song, or we can't do that. It's a so-and-so. I understand the main Arsenal ones, but there's quite a lot of modern songs out there that are tunes that I'd love to come to. Someone, I can't remember the thing. Did you hear there's a kid called Tommy. He come up with one for Xavi Simons about Chelsea. He sang it in the South Stand. I thought that was great. But then some other people don't like that.
He said, "Wow."
That one because they're singing it for Eze.
That was it. Yeah, but ones like that where you've got a bit of a beat to it is my aim. And I quite obviously you've got to remember as well. Like I've been going non-league and Tottenham. So at non-league they sing every song, like every single song going, and so it is a bit different doing the two different ones, and so I'm more of like, yes, do that one, but then basically any song that you hear clubs do that's got a beat and a rhythm, I'd love to just adapt it into a Spurs one. And I love
what you got to do is you got to release a list, like a karaoke book of all the songs that that would work in a football stadium. Can anyone make a song out of any of these songs, please?
But to be fair, like that's what Spurs song sheet. He kind of does that, doesn't he, by putting them out? But then it's online, isn't it? As you boys will know, like you could do the kindest thing in the world, and then people would not like it. Like it's just my plea is just try it, get on. We're moaning about the atmosphere, so who can change that? Us.
100%. It's all down to us. It's not down to anyone else. But like, I've been moaning about it for so many years now, and I still it's not for the want of trying, and I still try every week. I kind of feel like this is just the way society's gone now. And are we just fighting a losing? It's not going to stop me trying, and it's not going to stop you trying. But are we of fighting a losing battle?
Is it society, or is it just a changing demographic of the people who go to football in that stand? You know?
Maybe.
you know what's interesting? So I've got so I met a guy called, I can't remember his name. It's a guy called Tommy. He's a rapper and a singer. He's on social medias.
Yeah, I've been
And
speaking to him as well. Nice guy.
yeah, lovely guy. And I on the train back from City, he was sat opposite me, and I'm just watching videos of the game and the singers, and I was like, oh, that's the kid sat opposite me. And when he woke up, we got talking, and it was really, this is how nice he was. We got talking, and after about 20 minutes, I realised in conversation he knew I was the drummer because it hadn't come up, which is the way he was talking about it. I was like, that was quite cool. I won't lie. And he's got a big group of kids that are like 18, and I know one of them from Southend, a guy called Rob, and like, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. Like, I know from like they work to do Tottenham home and away.
Yeah.
And it's kind of going back to that in the teenagers. You look at them all and they're there with their flat caps and you know, like, I don't know if I say something like the old, it's like the old firms, isn't it? Like, hopefully they don't do all that side of things, but it's like those 18-year-olds, like, and so I think it's coming back. It's just we've got to go with it. And yeah, I haven't got the answer.
Just keep drumming, and hopefully the rest will follow. That's what it's all about. But
we don't want what happened at Wembley. They were playing drumming over the tannoy.
Oh, that was one of the worst things ever. That was one of the worst things ever.
No, that was awful. Yeah, no, that was. Do you know what? Someone. So I don't know why they did it, right? But it sounds like I did it. I didn't. I swear. Someone Googled something to do with me around the Bilbao thing, and they were like, "Have a look at this." And the way Google did it, I got the stick for that. Like my name on Google got this. Like my Twitter account got the stick for the. I was like, no, I just have to change that. Focus on Bilbao.
So a big, obviously a massive game coming up this weekend. Chelsea at home, 5:30 kickoff. I know.
Form not been great. So like maybe we need some more drumming.
We need you to be on your A game this weekend. That's for sure.
Man.
So on that, if you have a look on all those accounts I've mentioned, but my one's Bobby Stewart 03 on Twitter. You've got Return of the Shelf and the Song Sheet. I don't know if you've seen it, but we've all put out a tweet today about the meet up beforehand.
Okay.
So on the on the concourse, we're going to try and get people there from 4. Never, you know, I understand people. If you get there at 4 and you don't see anyone there, don't stay there because we'll come. You know, it will be there, and that's the whole idea. And we'll build it up. And the club, if you look on that tweet, the club have actually got on board this as well, and they've agreed that we'll have silence, so no music on the tannoy 5 minutes before kickoff.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing this. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
At 5:24 and 30 seconds, very specific.
Precise, and I hope it's on the dot.
Everyone in their seats 10 minutes before.
Yeah. So that's good, and that's just a sign of the club showing that they're willing to adapt, isn't it? Because I don't think they've done that last year.
Yeah. So let's just hope, like, even if we do go 1-0 down, the fans just need to keep singing, keep supporting the team, no matter what is happening on the pitch. I know if you go 4-0 down, it's a bit demoralising, but if you're still in the game, you got to support the team, in my opinion, or even if you're not.
Exactly that. And also, I'm not being funny. Like, it's such an easy game to do it. It's Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at this would be a good atmosphere anyway. We're looking to turn this from a good atmosphere to be like, wow. Like I want. Obviously, it will depend on what happens on the pitch, really, but I'd love it if we could come away from this and go, like, if we can get over the voodoo and beat Chelsea, and we can go like, wow, the atmosphere, like, that is what we can do. So everyone play their part, and I'm just looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Saturday 5:30 kickoffs anyway. They're my favourite.
Yeah, a lot of time in the pub before we can get the atmosphere pumping, that's for sure. But Bobby, thank you so much for coming on today. Once again, thank you for all the brilliant work that you have done over the past year or two. And let's just hope that some fans listening here that maybe, a bit apprehensive about singing sometimes can get involved in the action. Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, I'm fairly easy to spot because I've got a drum. If anyone's got any questions, or if anyone just wants to get involved, obviously you can't come and stand near me because that's we're allocated. But Phil, I'm approachable. I love chatting to Spurs fans, and we're all in it together, aren't we? We all love one thing. So and thanks for having me on, boys. Really, really appreciate it because it's nice to get people to understand a bit about the things that we've got to do and that we're trying. We really are trying. So
and feel free anytime you've got ideas to improve the atmosphere and you want to get the message out here.
Yeah, we're always
jump on
here.
the show.
Always jump on, mate.
Oh, man, boys,
Always
you
jump
do a
on.
great job as well. Thank you so much. Really
No,
appreciate
thank
it.
Well,
you.
Bobby.
Just
Nice
quickly before you go, do you
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
get? Can you ever get to away games? Like, could you get the drum in the away section?
So it's something I haven't approached yet. I haven't got enough points to do aways naturally myself, but I've been to aways. Should I say that publicly? I don't know. But I think it's something for me. I don't think any Premier League ground is going to allow the away fans to have a drum because they're not going to want them to have improve the atmosphere. And the reason why we always moan because we see PSG or whoever in Europe doing it, like Frankfurt last year, is because if you turn down them for a drum, they're going to ruin your stadium, aren't they? Because they have the ultras and they face the thing. It's a bit different, you know. If they turn down me with a drum, I'm going, all right, fair enough.
So you got to be more aggressive then. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. I think the difference is when I've got 4,000 people that will definitely be as aggressive behind me, I'll be fine. It's a bit different at the moment. But yeah, no. Sorry, but really quickly, I linked to that. One of my first games drumming, it was a poor atmosphere, and I don't want to moan it, but someone was having a little bit of a pop. And the whole of 324, it made me realise that Spurs is a family because most of them didn't know me. They just they all like were telling him like, "Oh, go away, mate!" Like, and they all stuck up for the drum and for me. And I was like, I just felt love. And from that moment on, like it's a family in it. So we're all in it together.
100%.
Absolutely. Bobby, have a good rest of your day, my friend.
Amazing. I'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Up the Spurs.
Cheers. Take
Come on.
care.
Cheers for coming on, mate. That was Bobby Stewart.
I'm trying to remember. I've got a memory of there was definitely an away game where we had a drum, like in the last couple of years. I can't remember what I think it might be the European away game.
It was Milan, San Siro, yeah.
Yeah, there was.
I don't remember it in the stadium, but I remember it in, in the square
in the
before
concourse.
because
Yeah,
we got videos of it.
The guy who's a pilot, what's his name? That fan who's a pilot. Oh,
yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
He was drumming that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was, I don't know if he got it into the ground that day, but it was definitely, remember in the square, all the fans were.
Yeah, it was great. It was so good. Yeah, it was so good.
And all the way to, I mean, he must have had it in the ground because we had it all the way on the way to the ground.
Unless he wasn't, unless they took it off. I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember. But that was, we need more drummers in the away games as well.
But look, it's not the away games that need the help. It's the home games.
True.
The away games are fine. Like Everton away on the weekend was absolutely brilliant. Fans always turn up away, always bring their voices. It's at the home games where we're in desperate need of some better atmosphere.
Yeah, I worry the way Tottenham's going with the posh seats, the what do you call them? The not priority, the corporate. There's a big section in the south stand which is seated and premium seats.
But that shouldn't affect the south stand. Like all the noise should be coming from the south stand, right?
But I'm saying there are premium seats right in the middle.
Yeah, there's the 1882, but even that, like, it's like a line across, but there's still like, how many fans in the south stand?
17,000.
Yeah, so there's at least like 12,000 other fans that are not corporate, even more probably.
I know,
than
but
that.
the demographic is just turning older, and fans who you need younger fans. That's who make the noise. That's who get the energy, get the buzz. It's always younger fans, teenagers till late 20s. Those kind of fans usually. That's what I've seen the data suggests.
Late 20s, so I'm past it already.
You're past it. You're done. Obviously, you're an anomaly. But those are the fans who obviously create the most energy and the most buzz, and we're obviously pricing them out the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like Spurs to bring in some sort of incentive, like just for that south stand, just to bring in like maybe a ticket that's cheaper up to a certain age, like under 30 or something. Maybe something like that.
Or maybe because the drum is high up, maybe you need the drum in the standing section lower down.
Well, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Back at White Hart Lane, the drum was always on the southeast corner. It wasn't in the lower section, but that drum that they had at White Hart Lane was massive.
And it was smaller.
It was smaller, but you could definitely, and it got around the whole stadium, didn't it? This drum, like as however good it is, and however much he's impacting the people around him, it's kind of a smaller drum, and it's hard to hear on the other side of the south stand. Never mind the other side of the stadium.
Maybe he needs his drum connected to a loudspeaker.
Maybe he just needs a bigger drum, and he needs a bigger space to have it in.
Need a whole kit.
Yeah. But look, that's the drop on the atmosphere, something obviously we care deeply about, and let's hope things can change in the near future. I won't be there for the Chelsea game. You're going to be there, so you're going to have to...
Exactly. I just sing my heart out.
Yeah.
If I come back with a voice, I've done something wrong.
Yeah. We'll clip that up and we'll see. We'll clip that up and we'll see. 'Cause, okay, if I was there, I would not be coming back with a voice. I guarantee you that. All right, let's get into a Tottenham update, because some interesting stuff has been spoken about around social media in the last 24 hours. We're going to start off with some injury news. You guys might have heard already, but Archie Gray is obviously injured, and Tom Barkley said Archie Gray's injury is a calf problem that should keep him out for 4 weeks. Jake Sanders from The Sun says he's facing up to 8 weeks out injured.
He did rectify. Well, he didn't quite rectify it, but he said he has now heard it's 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
In a tweet update, so it might be 4. Frank said he did it in the Monaco game, but it's interesting because he finished that game, didn't he?
Yeah.
In 90 minutes. But he said he got a calf issue in the Monaco game that turned into a strain. He said he would have started yesterday if it wasn't for the injury. Was he on the bench against Everton? I can't remember.
I don't think he was.
Anyway, gutting for him.
He might have been. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Gutting for him though, because he looked like he was in quite good form. He was looking sharp whenever he was getting an appearance. He looked like he was getting to grips with high-level football. I think what was a big difference I noticed in him is physically. He just seemed to glide past people and shove people away. I think last season, physically, it was a bit of a struggle for him to make that leap from the Championship to the Premier League. But this season, he seems to physically kind of taking a step up.
Yeah.
And that was really good. So it's a shame that he's going to be out for however long, at least a month. Let's hope it doesn't hold him back too much. But
Yeah.
it's disappointing for him.
Yeah, injuries really are starting to...
And as well, with a doggy out, he would have been an option at left back. So he's not that anymore. So I guess pressure's on Spence to kind of play every game while Doggy's injured.
Yeah. So, I mean, injuries are really starting to mount up in a serious way, because he mentioned yesterday, Thomas Frank, that Wilson Odebear has a side strain which needs to be assessed, which is not great. Obviously, Odebear as well, him in his own right, has been doing some good things. Last couple of games he's played has been steps in the right direction. He's starting to make a bit of an impact on that left-hand side, and now he's injured. We don't know the severity of it or how long it's going to be.
He said hopefully available for Chelsea, but he can.
I don't like that word, hopefully.
Yeah, he said hopefully available for Chelsea. So obviously he had, again, I'm assuming it happened in Monaco, because he said side strain, and I'm pretty sure it was his side, it was his ribs that got injured against Monaco late in that game. He had to go off, but then he was on the bench against Everton.
So Gray was as well.
So why were they both on the bench if they're injured? It's really odd. But he was on the bench, didn't get any minutes, and now it turns out he's injured, because obviously he wasn't in the squad yesterday. It's disappointing for him as well, because he was building up some momentum and he was playing quite well. Hopefully, it's not too long. If he's fit and available for Chelsea, does he start?
Probably. It depends obviously how fit he is, how much training he's had, and all that kind of stuff. But I think he's our best left winger at the moment.
Yeah. Did he play that? Because as I say, he's in the build-up, he's kind of changed the structure a bit. But maybe I think he could fit that inside left position.
I think he could be even better, more centrally than he is tugged out to the left. So I don't see why not.
Yeah. And we don't really have much width on that left-hand side. If we get in there, maybe that could help. But I think he's playing really well. He was playing quite well. Not really well, but quite well. Improving every week. So let's hope it's not too bad.
Let's talk about some potential transfer news now. Team Talk are reporting that Spurs are interested in bringing Scott McTominay back to the Premier League. Reports over the last few days have suggested that the Scottish midfielder would be keen on a return to England. A separate report saying he's completely happy at Napoli and doesn't want to leave. In the same report, there's linking him to Manchester United and Barcelona as well. Obviously, McTominay, since going to Napoli, has been an absolute revelation for them.
Ballon d'Or nominee.
Mad. He is performing so well, scoring regularly for club and country.
Won the league.
Obviously, I think Man United, probably looking back at that, probably saying a mistake to let him go, how well he's been playing. And even when he was at Manchester United in last year, wasn't he their top goal scorer?
There was a period where he was just scoring winner after winner, I remember, like these late goals. And I feel like they misprofiled him at Man United. They kept trying to shoehorn him into this defensive midfielder role. Yet whenever he played in this like number 10 role, like a la like Fellaini, he would always get goals and he would always like turn up in good positions. And
he arrives late in the box and he gets like quite a number of goals for Napoli.
So I think Conte's just like, that's your position, and he's going to play you there. And he's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's getting goals regularly. Did you see the goal he scored? What game was it against Inter?
I did, yeah.
Fantastic. A half volley on the edge of the area. Like, unbelievable. So he's really turned into a proper goal-scoring midfielder, and he's fulfilling his potential, which he had at United. I wouldn't mind him at Tottenham in that kind of form, but yeah, I mean, we've got players at the moment there. So, I mean, obviously, if we sign him, it's not to play the pivot. But he's not quite a number 10 either. He's like a box crashing 8, I would say. So that's like kind of where Bergwijn, that's like where he is at the moment.
I mean, right now, you've got to say he's better than what we got.
Yeah, for sure. He's playing very well. Very well.
Last year, he got 12 goals and 4 assists for Napoli in a title-winning season. In his last year for Man United, 7 goals. And that's in a season where they're misprofiling him. Yeah. So I think I would love to see McTominay at Spurs. I think he's a top quality player. Only 28 years of age still, so like proper bang in his prime now. Yeah. So I think it would be a brilliant signing for us if we could get him.
Don't really see us going for him though.
No, me neither. But it's nice to think about. So that's Scott McTominay.
You wouldn't have said that 2 years ago or 18 months ago. Nice to think about McTominay coming to Tottenham.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? And next up, Fijajes are reporting that Tottenham Hotspur are considering a move for West Ham's 28-year-old England forward, Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod is under contract till 2030, so a significant fee would be needed to secure his services. Spurs are hoping that if West Ham get relegated, he'll be available for £60 million. Now, we got a previous of taking West Ham's best players. Before Kudus, it was mainly when they got relegated. So when they got relegated, we took Carrick, Defoe, Canute, all these big players for them.
So when they go down this year,
Jarrod Bowen. The thing is with Jarrod Bowen, I think he would need to get divorced if he was to join Tottenham.
I think Danny Dyer would kill him, I think.
If he's ever looking for a way out of the marriage.
This is one way to do it. I would love Bowen. He's one of those players who every year, doesn't matter how good or bad West Ham are, he's just always there, isn't he?
Keeps up his standards every time.
He's always scoring goals, always providing a threat. Where would he fit in at Tottenham? In competition with Kudus?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. Kudus and Bowen battling out, but as much as I think Tottenham would want him, and I think he'd be open to it.
No, he wouldn't. No chance.
I think secretly he would want it.
Only secretly, though.
Yeah, he would like.
I don't think he could bring himself to do it with his family situation.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is on his way out of West Ham soon. Yeah. Because
particularly if they get relegated, he has to leave.
For sure, but even if not, like he's 28 now. West Ham are going nowhere anytime soon. Like he's got to think, like if a good club comes in who are going to be playing Champions League football, like he's got to think of his career and think this might be the last chance for him to play Champions League football.
Do you not think Man City should go for him?
Man City? Yeah, why not?
Because they need a scoring winger.
Yeah.
And that's what he is.
And it also gives time for Savinho to develop a bit more as well, without having that pressure on him. Like he'll be a good signing.
Yeah, I think
Liverpool, could he take over from Salah at Liverpool?
That's another one. But I think Man City is the one that really fits, to be honest. I think they're desperate for him. Never mind just need him. I think they're desperate for him.
Yeah, so like if I'm City, I'm going for him as well. He offers a different threat because they just have ball to feet wingers, and he's like, running behind and a real threat on goal. So I agree. I think he's got to think about himself at the moment, and he's got to leave that club.
Yeah, 100% agree. Next up, we are going to talk about Igor Thiago of Brentford. Court Offside reporting that Villa, Newcastle and Tottenham are all plotting moves for Brentford striker Igor Thiago in the January transfer window. The Brazilian has scored 7 in 10 matches for Brentford this season. You know what? Every time I see this guy play, I'm really impressed. Battering ram up front, really physical, holds up the ball well, even gets in behind, gets shots off regularity. I really like him.
And last season, he was brought in to replace Tony, and then he got injured for the whole year, didn't he? So, it's got to be hard for him, a young striker, come in to start in the Premier League and be injured for a whole year, but clearly hasn't let that affect him because he's really started the season brilliantly, so physical, and a good finisher. That finish, I think, was against Man United. I remember didn't even touch the ball, bam, top corner, near post, brilliant, and he's been doing a great job. whether it be holding up the ball for Chardy, whether it be going through on goal for himself. I've been very impressed with him. So, look, I don't know about coming to Tottenham, but it seems that Brentford, doesn't matter who plays up front for them at the moment, they got the Midas touch at the moment, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like the way they play, because they're always playing on the counter, their forward players always have so much space.
Yeah,
So
but
I think it brings the
they're all
best
good
out of them.
players, though. You know, like Ivan Toney was a very good player. Igor Thiago, in his own right, is a good player. You look at Mbuemo. Look, he's ripping up for Manchester United now. I mean, they're all good players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so you got to give credit to their scouting.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You got to give credit to their scouting. Don't deny that. But I would take him at Spurs. I know it's only a small sample size that we've seen, but from what I've seen, he looks better than what we got.
I'm not convinced. I think, look, to be fair, I'm trying to think. To be fair, his finishing's been a lot better than what I thought it would be. But a lot of his goals have been running in behind and into space and scoring that way. Where, again, we just don't get that at Tottenham. How many times do you get the opportunity at Tottenham we've seen this season? So I don't know how he would fare.
But he looks like someone that's just got that brute strength, and he can hold off defenders, and I think he can hold the ball up as well. So I think this is what we're seeing from him, because he's in the Brentford side, but I genuinely believe he's got the other side to his game as well.
I just want to see more of Mwani and Solanke before I say we need to bring someone like Thiago in, who's probably going to cost big money now. That's how the Premier League goes. You have a good run of form, you're all of a sudden 50 million.
You get a good 10 games, and
Yeah,
that's it.
it's 50 million. I would if you have told me now Thiago's coming in, we got Solanke and we got Mwani. I just want to see more from them before I make any big decisions on a striker.
Another player from Brentford, actually, it's not in the overlay, but another player that we've been linked with is Yago Yarmouk of Brentford.
What a player, Yarmouk.
But, you know, I've been watching him this season. I've been really impressed. Really impressed. You know, he's got bite in his challenge. He knows how to pass the ball forward. He's looking like a really good central midfielder in the Premier League, isn't he?
He is, and Frank's obviously a massive fan of him. He brought him in, and he's on. You saw everyone seen that video of him celebrating how good of a player he is. Look, we need a player in that position who can pass the ball forward a bit. So that's the truth. And if he can do it, then he can do it.
Yeah, apparently I saw another report that says Keith Andrews has had assurances that they're not going to sell big players in January. But then again, it went on to say that he had assurances they weren't going to sell Wissa and Mbuemo in the same window as well. But I guess, like, with the Wissa situation, they'd already sold Mbuemo. Their hands were tied behind their back with Wissa because he was refusing to train. What are you supposed to do?
And again, we've got so many midfielders. I just don't really see outside of Yarmouk in January.
Maybe it's one for the summer.
Yeah.
Another one that we were linked with in the summer was Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa. This is not like a current transfer that Spurs looking to get done, but I thought it was quite interesting because Romano says that Tottenham were prepared to offer crazy money for Morgan Rogers in the summer. However, Villa wanted to keep the player and are now trying to renew his contract. What do you reckon crazy money was?
That sounds like near 100 million.
That's what crazy money sounds to me. Do you reckon Spurs were genuinely willing to offer
Maybe
close
80?
to 100 million for Morgan Rogers?
Maybe 80 million or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Crazy for Spurs.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they were actually genuinely ready to put that bid in?
I think there was a lot of reports around us willing to spend money on him. I don't know.
Because we had already spent the money on
Javi.
No, not Javi yet. I think it was before Javi. Maybe it was instead of Javi. We were going to bring Morgan Rogers in because we'd already spent the money on Kudus.
Kudus, yeah.
Javi came in right at the end
There
of the
were
window.
links of even after Javi, wasn't there? Like just a crazy deadline day bid or like a late bid.
Yeah, but I think Morgan Rogers, the links were there before Javi.
Yeah, they're also there before Javi as well. Because there was a lot of links that Villa had to sell because of FFP. I would be shocked if we were willing to spend more than 70 million, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He's had a weird start to the season. He had a great game a good goal against us, but that was his first goal of the season.
Yeah.
He's been out of sorts. Do you reckon maybe all
Heads turned.
all the speculations affected him a bit maybe?
But there's talk about him about to sign a new contract. So maybe he's about to sign a new contract with a release clause in it.
Potentially. Or he's just trying to settle himself down.
Yeah.
Stop the noise.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't seemed the same player as he was last season. I think he scored his first goal of the season against us. But maybe since that game against us, he has been slowly creeping back into form.
I think him next to a Javi in that role would be brilliant.
I love Morgan Rogers. I think he's such a top player, man. And if we could ever get him, I think that would be a major coup for the club. Major.
I love Rogers, yeah. But I just don't see him coming anytime soon. With Decky coming back, Maddison depends on what happens with him, but he's coming back at some point. And then we've got Xavi and we've got Bergvall. So I don't really see us spending, what we need to spend to get him.
Yeah, doesn't seem like you see us spending much money in many positions.
Well,
Striker, midfielder,
striker at the moment, and maybe a defender, and probably a defender. That's the priorities right now. We just spent 50 million on a number 10, so I don't see Rodgers coming in January at least.
Yeah. And last but not least, Vajakis and Team Talk are both reporting on Micky van de Ven. Vajakis say that Tottenham are prepared to demand a fee of €100 million to sell Micky van de Ven in the face of interest from Liverpool, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Team Talk say that although Real Madrid continue to assess several free agent centre-back options, the La Liga leaders remain keen on signing Micky van de Ven. And look, I think it would take a monstrous offer for Spurs to even think about selling Van de Ven, if anything. But with the way he's going and the way that he's playing, if Spurs don't get Champions League this year, is it going to be hard for Spurs to keep him?
Him and Romero, you could argue, this season if we don't get Champions League, because they're both such great defenders. But obviously we're going to look to tie him down to a new contract. We know Romero just signed a new contract. So if we can get Van de Ven to sign, regardless of what he wants, if we get him to sign, are Madrid really going to stump up that much, the amount, 150 or whatever it's going to take to get him in? They signed Hyson for 50 in the summer. They signed Rudiger on a free. So at the moment, they got Mbappe on a free, they got Trent on a free. That's what they're looking at. They're not looking to spend 100 plus
what about
on a
Liverpool?
defender. Liverpool, well, if they don't get Guehi,
Yeah.
again, they have spent, but they wanted to spend how much on Guehi? 35, 40?
Yeah.
Are they willing to put an extra 100 million on that to get Van de Ven?
Well, it depends how much they value him. If they look at Van de Ven, seeing he's a much better option for the now and the future for Liverpool, it's a potential. He could be the realistic replacement for Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
I know Guehi can be as well, but I value I know I'm a Spurs fan, I'm a bit biased, but I think Micky is better than Guehi, and he's got the potential to be a lot better than Guehi.
The Spurs take 100, let's say you put 100, well, Isaac's the record, is he? 125, isn't he?
Yes. Is
So-
that the record? Yeah.
Yeah, he's record in England. So I don't see them putting more than that up. Would they need to put more than that up to get him?
I think it all depends on Micky and how desperate he is to go to Liverpool. If he's kicking up a fuss and he's desperate to go, then I think it's a deal that Spurs might look to get done. Maybe we'll try and get him outside of the Premier League first. But if there's no deal to be done...
If he signs a contract, I don't think he's going anywhere this summer regardless.
I agree with that.
Unless we literally have a proper disaster, I don't think he's going anywhere if we get him to sign.
It does worry me a bit, though, because the contract's not signed.
No, it's not signed.
So it is a bit of a worry because he is that good. And if he keeps performing the way he's performing week in, week out, big clubs...
Especially if he stays fit.
Yeah, exactly. And big clubs are going to come in for him.
100%. If we're not in the Champions League, then teams are ruthless. They'll target you. We saw, even when Newcastle, they were in the Champions League, they still got targeted.
Yeah.
So these clubs, they'll try and go for any weakness at the moment.
Yeah.
We were managed, though, to tie down Romero, which is great news. Let's hope we can do the same with Micky.
100%. So Tottenham, if you're watching, get that contract done for Micky van de Ven. This is a desperate times now, man. But that is your Tottenham update. Let us know in the comments section below all the thoughts and regarding all the news stories that we have brought you today. I guess it is time to look back at the game yesterday. If we have to. Do we have to?
Don't have to.
All right, well, that's it from us today, guys. I don't even. The people in the chat probably don't even want to listen to it, but they're going to listen to it anyway. But look, we've lost 2-0 to Newcastle. Carabao Cup, we're out. A lot of changes. You look at all the games around the Carabao Cup yesterday. No one played a strong team, did they? Really? We probably played one of the stronger teams.
Yeah, Liverpool was ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that. Liverpool. It was almost as if they had like a game tomorrow, the way they played their Carabao Cup game against Palace.
If I'm a Liverpool fan, I hate what Slot did yesterday in the Carabao.
I don't know why. Why did he go so weak and not even put players on the bench?
It's madness to me. I think it's absolutely crazy.
Like, he just sacrificed it. Maybe he feels like they got too many games, but it's crazy. Like, why not leave an Ekitike or Gakpo or Szoboszlai, anyone on the bench, just to recover the situation if you need them? It's like he just thought, nah, we're going out of this. We don't want this.
Yeah, sometimes when you're feeling the pressure, you make some odd decisions. And it's very clear that Slot is feeling a lot of pressure right now. Because, they were favourites to win the league a few weeks ago.
And now it's what?
And now they're out of the conversation.
5 losses in 6.
Yeah.
5 losses in 6 in all competitions.
So, yeah, absolutely crazy. But on Spurs, when the lineup got announced, were you happy with it?
Look, I understood it. I don't know if I was happy with it, but I wasn't going to complain about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think I said before the game, is there any concern about how much football Van der Ven is playing? And clearly Frank felt there was, so he rested him. I was like, look, and if there's any sort of concern that Van der Ven is playing too much football, I've got no problem taking out the far line, even if it means we're losing yesterday, because I want him fit for the whole season. That's the main thing for me when it comes to Van der Ven. And that's so important. He's such a big part of our game. And we've got 3, 2 other cup competitions and league to think about. The Carabao Cup, as much as I would love to win it, it is the least of our priorities. That is just a fact. It's the least of our priorities this season. So if there's any worry about Van der Ven taking out the final line, Kudus has been looking tired the last couple of games. So I don't have a problem really taking him out. It's frustrating. And I think I said before the game, like, I don't mind the lineup, but did I believe that lineup was good enough to win? I wasn't sure, and it turned out it wasn't.
Yeah, I felt like it was, particularly when I looked at Newcastle's lineup as well. Like, I thought that lineup was good enough to win, and I actually saw a lot of things in the game where, Spurs don't make 2 massive screw-ups at the back. Then you never know. We could have qualified for the next round. That game hinged on 2 massive cock-ups at the back for Tottenham. That's what it hinged on. Because I think we created our chances, they created their chances. Yeah, maybe they had a few better chances than us, but we were still creating, and much better in terms of our play, our general play from open play than we have seen in recent weeks. So I thought that it was a fine margin to the game yesterday.
But before they scored, we weren't in the game.
No, but it's true. It's true because, like, I can sit here and say that, we looked a lot better from open play. But however, when it was 0-0, and the game state was drawing, it was all Newcastle.
It was only a matter of time before they scored.
So, like, did we only look like that because we were 1-0 down chasing the game? Or did we look like that because that's what Thomas Frank wanted us to look like?
I think when you got these games, I think sometimes the game goes in moments. I've seen this actually a lot when he was at Brentford. A lot of the time down the cost, then all of a sudden the game state changes and something changes within the game, and then all of a sudden they're on top for a bit, and they're never out of the game. And I think that's kind of yesterday. We were second best up until they scored, and then I think naturally when you're 1-0 up, I think you could see they were proper going for it in the first 25 minutes, Newcastle, and they're really, really intense. But I think that intensity naturally dropped off as the half was going on, and Tottenham were just allowed to get back in the game. I'm not saying it was Newcastle did anything wrong. I just think naturally, when you're that intense for 25 minutes, you get that goal. You obviously want to keep the foot on our necks, which they had for the first 25 minutes. But there might naturally be a bit of a drop off, protect your lead, and then go again in the second half. That's kind of what they did. Luckily for them, they didn't concede because we did have some moments in that last stage of the first half. But I think a lot of the time I think we improved. We were finding solutions out of their press, but I think they naturally just did drop off a bit. They weren't as intense as they were in the opening 25 minutes. So I think it's like a bit of both. I think you've got to give us a bit of credit because we were finding some little passing moves and we were creating some good chances as well. And we were quite unlucky probably not to have gotten a goal potentially, albeit the only real chance we actually got a shot off was from a set piece again, which was Charleston headed it straight at Ramsdale. He's got to be burying that in the corner. We had a couple of moments, but One of them was just behind Richarlison, the other one was just in front of Richarlison when it came to some crosses from Brennan Johnson and Bergvall. But they were some good moves to get us in those positions. Xavi had a shot over the bar just at the end of the half. So I wouldn't say we were like creating loads of like gilt-edged chances, but we clearly were back in the game in that moment. And if we got a goal 1-1, I don't think Newcastle ever could have complained.
But that was fine margins though, wasn't it? Because like if Richarlison holds his run a little bit better, then you're probably saying Richarlison's got a score from that position. So I'm saying, like, the chances, the moments that you're saying that we created, they were really good moments because on another day, Richarlison holds his run a little bit. The ball's a tiny bit, like a few centimetres to the right. Like you're saying, those are proper gilt-edged chances. So it's like proper fine margins.
Yeah, that's what it was. And we just, whether you call it lacking quality to finish the move or just a bit unlucky, you can say it either way you want. But either way, we just weren't able to get it over the line.
Yeah, which is really frustrating because, like I said to you yesterday, I felt like out of the midweek games that we've been struggling, and that's what we've shown the most in that game than we have done in any of the Champions League games so far. So I came away from it like really disappointed and, you know, downbeat that we've gone out. But I take from it some positives, and I take from it saying that, you know, we're potentially going in the right direction here.
Yeah, I mean, it was only really a 20-minute spell, though, wasn't it? Not even, probably a 15-minute spell. So it's hard to make too many sweeping conclusions. But I think it was what I liked. If at half time, I was pretty content with how we were playing, and we ended the half really strongly, and I was happy. Second half was a bit different. Second half, we had maybe a 5-minute spell where we looked like we could score. Saar had that chance, and who else had a chance? Saar had one, and Rishi forced to save out Ramsdale. But apart from that, second half, Newcastle grabbed control of the game again. So it's not exactly like we were able to keep it up for too much longer.
Yeah, but we are away to Newcastle here. So like,
how much changed Newcastle?
Yeah, much changed Newcastle, fair enough. But still, like as you say, like you said it a number of times yesterday, like even with the lineup that Newcastle had, it's still St James's Park. It's still a really hard place to go. And no matter kind of who they're playing in against, you know, they're going to be a really tough team to beat and tough, and the way they set up and everything like that. And they're always so aggressive. So I feel like if we played like that or have those moments against kind of a different opposition, maybe we take something more out of the game. Potentially,
but again, we're talking about a little spell in the game. It was better, and I like the structure. I like what the structure gives us, what Frank has done. But we did deserve to lose. It's not like we
no, that's true.
It's not like we was unlucky. The result was unlucky. It was Newcastle the better team, especially in the last 20 minutes when they made all the subs. As soon as they brought their A team on, it was game over.
Yeah,
it shut us down, and it's like we couldn't get our own half. So yes, it was good for that moment in the end of the first half. But I can't sit here and say, based off that, it's all definitely. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I like the structure, and I do think it's been better in the last two games. So that's good. But I didn't come away from the game thinking that was a really good performance and we were unlucky. We lost and we deserved to lose.
Yeah. But, you know, we've been speaking a lot over the last week or two, like, you know, Frank has got to show you something that the game or our general play can improve.
Yeah, he did.
And he did show you something.
He showed. I think the structure's getting better. Definitely. And I definitely think it's getting better, to be honest. So that's a real positive. But obviously you want to see it for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, obviously. But, you know, I guess it's just baby steps at this moment in time. And we need to back it up with a really strong performance against Chelsea, because what he hasn't shown so far is being able to perform at home. Mm-hmm. And this is a massive home game now against, would you call it a struggling Chelsea side now? Are they a struggling Chelsea side?
Obviously they did win yesterday.
Just about, yeah.
They did win. Is it a struggle? I think they're definitely struggling.
So it's a struggling Chelsea side.
Yeah, they're struggling with certain aspects, but it's still going to be a tough game. You know, they're probably going to.
It's always a tough game against Chelsea. Mm-hmm. Always.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of Tottenham we are going to see on Sunday. Are we going to see us really go for it and like some really attacking football, or is it going to be more similar to how we have been, which is just really solid and try and find something going forward without really focusing too much on it, kind of thing?
Yeah, if Romero was fit, I would be tempted to go for the 3-5-2 against Chelsea because we know the way Chelsea are going to set up and play. They're going to come to attack. And I think if we were to play that 3-5-2, we could really pick them off. But I don't think...
they struggle against 5 at the back as well.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I've heard.
So I don't think... that's not going to be the case because I don't think Romero is going to be fit. But I didn't like a lot of people saying, oh, I don't care about going out this competition. Like, I don't believe people when they say that. I think that was just pure copium, to be honest. Like, how can you not care Spurs going out of a competition and a realistic chance to win a trophy?
But if you cared, then you should be unhappy that he's not playing Van de Ven or Kudus from the start, because those are massive players for us right now.
Yeah.
I think we were always unlikely to win if they didn't start, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair, but, you know, for these games, you do make changes sometimes. And like I say, Van de Ven needs the rest. Kudus in the last couple of games has looked like he's needed the rest as well. So maybe starting a Kudus might not have even impacted much. Van de Ven's probably a different story. Do we concede those 2 goals if Van de Ven's on the pitch? Who knows? But
I have to say, the more I think about it, I do think that the first goal we conceded, what can we really do about it in hindsight? Because I've watched it back. I actually think Spence is a bit at fault though, because they timed his how long it took him to get his boot on, 45 seconds. So he was taking a long time to do it. So I think what happened was the ref kind of got fed up of waiting, and as soon as he got his boot on, all right, back up. So, but if he took 10 seconds, he probably would have allowed him to get back in position because he wasn't kind of taking the piss. So I think maybe his casual nature, getting that boot on, as much as we're analysing Spence doing his laces, I do think that maybe cost him a bit with the patience of the crowd and the referee in that moment. But from Tottenham's point of view, his boot was off. We had to wait for him to get his boot on, right? And what are we supposed to do? They've stopped the game to allow Spence to get his boot on, and they should at that point then let him get back in position.
How long are they supposed to wait?
What do you mean? How long are they supposed to wait?
You just said it took him 45 seconds
to get the boot on, but they've stopped the game. The game has stopped.
Yeah,
it's not live at this point. To wait for him to get his boot on. So from Tottenham's point of view, if they've stopped the game to wait for him to get his boot on, how can they be in position if he's not got his boot on? So they have to wait for him to get back into position at that point. So what are we supposed to do?
Well, I think what you said before was spot on. You know, he needs to deal with it quicker. Spence, just get your boot on, get back in position. Don't take your time and don't take the piss, and just get on with it. Don't wait around for 45 seconds getting your boot on and winding everyone up and forcing the ref to get the game going.
So you're pinning the blame on Spence?
Yeah, 100%. I'm putting the blame solely on us, and Spence is one of us. So I think we didn't deal with that situation well enough, and I think we reacted way too slow to the situation.
But what could the rest of the team have done apart from wait for Spence to get back in position?
Well, I guess you just got to always be ready, and I know you're a man down in the box, and it's not a good situation. But you know, Fabian Schär is completely free in the box
because Spence wasn't there.
Yeah, but surely someone else has got to pick him up.
Yeah, Spence.
No, someone else. When Spence isn't there.
How can someone else pick him up when he's Spence's man? Everyone's got a man, essentially.
But no, everyone didn't have a man because we were doing zonal marking, right? Not everyone had a man. We were marking a zone.
Yeah, but zonal marking means whoever comes into your zone, that's who you're marking.
Yeah, but there were Spurs defenders in that zone.
Yeah, who probably had other men to pick up.
Yeah, but if the ball's if you can see the ball's going to Schär, then you've got to do your best to stop it getting away. He was completely free, and there were men around him.
Because they might have been outnumbered.
Well, I don't know if that was the situation. I saw 2 men I can't remember which men it was. 2 men right next to Schär, and neither of them made an attempt. You've got to make an attempt at least.
Well, another part of it was Barnes pushed Bergvall, who pushed Danso, which meant that Danso wasn't able to really jump as maybe he might have been able to if that situation didn't happen. So that caused a bit of confusion as well. But I think obviously the main thing comes from Schär is free because Spence is still getting back to position because he's still got his boot off, or he's just got his boot on, sorry, and the referee didn't allow him to get back in position to defend the corner. So I do think the referee, if you've waited that long, you might as well allow him to get back in position. I think that's only fair. Otherwise, we are defending with one less man, which is not really a fault of Tottenham. It's fault, I guess you can say it's Spence's fault, but Yeah, I don't know. I guess you can say Spencer's fault for being a bit too casual, putting his boot on, taking 45 seconds. It is a bit ridiculous. You should not. Why is it taking
Totally
so long?
ridiculous.
But I think it's common courtesy, usually, in those situations.
We got to learn, Tim,
allow...
there's no such thing as common courtesy at St James's Park.
I'm just saying, 9 times out of 10, right, in that exact same situation in Premier League grounds up and down the country, the referee just allows him to get back in
I don't
position.
think I've ever seen that situation before.
What, playing with their boot off? You never seen that?
Not taking as long as Spence takes.
Okay,
to
maybe
put it
not,
back
but I'm
on.
just saying, most of the time, in those situations when the player's got his boot off, if the referee has stopped play, he then only restarts it once the player's ready to
I don't remember
restart.
ever seeing it from a corner, where a corner is actually stopped because someone's putting their boot
Yeah,
back on.
I've seen it.
I don't remember seeing one.
Yeah, it happens plenty of times during the season.
Yeah, you might be right, but I just don't remember off the top of my head ever seeing one.
Yeah, it happens. That's what happens. The referee stops and he only allows it when the player's ready.
But
that's
a corner can be taken when a team's not ready, right?
But the referee has stopped play.
But the game has stopped play before a corner's taken anyway.
No, but referee literally said hold the corner because he's putting his boot on. You know, so if he stopped
but
it
once
himself,
the boot's on, then why can't the ref just carry on play?
he can. But I'm just saying, usually they wait for the player who's just put his boot on to be ready.
What
to
I'm saying
start
is,
again.
what's the difference between that and the team just taking a short corner when everyone's out of position, or a quick corner when everyone's out of position?
Because the referee actively stopped play.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's why.
But also, if a corner is being taken and everyone's out of position, the play's going, right? So it doesn't really make it. It's the same
I don't
situation.
understand. If you're saying them taking a quick corner is the
When
same
nobody's ready.
when nobody's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
So they're
just-
not. So they're not waiting for us to get back in position and in
I
position
understand
to,
that.
to defend a corner.
I understand that.
So the
But
ref
that-
has
but
stopped play for Spence to put his boot on, right? The ref has said as soon as Spence has put his boot on, he's waved play on, right? So what's the difference between that and taking a short corner? At that moment, when the ref has waved play on, it's basically like taking a
The
quick
difference
corner.
is that he stopped play for Spence to put his boot on. So
And he's put it on.
There's an unfair advantage.
But he's put it on, and Spence is in the corner.
But how can he get ready?
How did the ref not know that Spence just wanted to stand in the corner waiting for the short corner? Like, how did he know?
Because he was moving back. You could see him dropping
Very
back
slowly.
into position. Yeah, I agree. And his casual nature probably cost him. But I'm saying the referee should have, in my opinion, allowed him to get back in position at that point. Because you've stopped play, right? So you can't then just continue it and let until he's ready because he clearly had his boot off. Wasn't wasting time.
I think if the situation is the other way around, like we're saying, look, you've got to be ready, and that's it.
It's a clever piece of play from Newcastle. I don't take any. It's not their fault. I think it's the referee's fault. I'm not saying Newcastle did anything wrong. The referee waved play on, and they scored from it. They took advantage of the situation. And if it's from us, I'd be delighted that we took advantage of that situation. So fair play to Newcastle. I just think the referee should have allowed Spence to get back in position because that's fair, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Happened.
Yeah, fair
and it cost
enough.
us.
I mean, the second goal, though, man, what a joke.
Also,
What a joke
should
that
Kinski have
was.
saved that first goal.
Well, a lot of people saying if Vicario's in goal, that's not a goal.
I mean, it did seem to go through him a bit.
Yeah.
Again, it's a header from a corner. It's difficult to save, but I think he gets a touch on it, doesn't he? And it allows it to,
It's like point blank range as well. Like,
yeah, it's not easy, but again, does a top keeper save it? Maybe. Second one, though, for sure. I mean, it's so poor. Frank himself said Kinski should never have come out. He said he should have stayed on his line.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have been very difficult for Voltmaker to have scored that if Kinski was on his line.
Yeah, it's just an absolute fuck up from Kinski, the
Just nowhere
second
near
goal.
it.
Nowhere near. Like,
And you're the keeper. I don't understand Voltmaker is bloody tall. I get that. But you can use your hands and you can jump. So there's no situation where a keeper should be heading it, should be beating you in the air. That should never happen
yeah.
at this level. Never.
Yeah, I mean, you're a big advocate saying, not advocate, but your prediction was that Kinski will be our number one come the end of the season or come. Well, you said quite early on in the season.
I have to say, his ball playing ability was brilliant.
It was brilliant, but.
Really, it was so much better than Vicario. But yeah, he's clearly got a lot of work to do.
You've got to do a lot more than ball playing ability.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. From his
Like, if I offered you Kinski's ball playing ability or Vicario's shot stopping,
No,
I'm taking
Vicario.
Vicario's shot stopping every day.
Yeah, especially what he showed in the last two games.
Yeah.
I think Vicario has been brilliant, albeit before that he was making a few mistakes. But yeah, I think Kinski isn't going to be the number one anytime soon, I think.
Yeah. So look, that Spurs out of the Carabao Cup, 2-0 to Newcastle. It is what it is at the end of the day. Some positives, some negatives, but we just got to dust ourselves off, move on. Big few games coming up. Chelsea at home, followed by a Champions League game against Copenhagen. Manchester United at home, who are, on really good form at this moment in time. And then it's the international break, isn't it? And then it don't stop there because we've got the North London derby creeping up right after that.
We knew this difficult games was coming up, didn't we?
Mad run of games now.
Is that our first loss away from home?
Yeah, I guess PSG's not an away game, was it? It's a cup final.
Yeah.
So first loss away from home under Frank.
Shame. It was probably going to come at some point.
Yeah.
We're never going to go the whole season unbeaten, were we?
Yeah,
we are still unbeaten.
We got to go back to St James's Park in about a month's time or something.
Yeah, and they're going to have their strongest team out that time.
And so will we.
So will we.
Maybe even Decky will be back by then. Probably not, but you never know.
Could always hope. But yeah, I think I just hope we continue trying to get Xavi and Bergvall closer together, because I think that is going to be the way forward to solving that central area. Because I think we were playing through the middle a lot more yesterday than we weren't just relying on the right hand side. I guess we couldn't because of Brennan, but I think we were. I think the threats were coming off the right and through the centre, just wasn't really coming from the left.
Yeah, and I think Xavi, from a starting point, whenever he started a game, probably his best display in the Spurs. I know it wasn't a world-beating display, but I guess it's steps forward.
Yeah, and I think it helps when he's closer together with Bergvall or Kudus. It was the other day, or I think it helps him having players around him. He's not so isolated. He can play off at players and wriggle away from situations more. He kind of looked a bit better usually he looks better from the left-hand side cutting in, but he did quite good from the right as well. So that was quite positive. So, I like that dynamic. I just want to see more of that. But I don't know how we solve maybe the left-hand side for now, because at the moment, in this build-up, if a doggy's injured and we're relying on Spence to provide the width, I don't know if I see much coming from that side.
Can we not try Tell on the left?
Can we try Tell on the left? But the thing is, in this build-up, we're playing like an inside. Yeah, we could. But we're playing him in like an inside number 10 position. And I'm saying playing Tell isn't going to stop Spence from holding the width at the moment. Unless we change it where it's Spence in the back three and Porro holding the width down the right.
I wouldn't mind that. And maybe getting Kudus more centrally on the right-hand side.
And then who would play on the left? Who would hold the width of the left? Let's say Odebear or Tell.
Yeah.
On the left. And then you have like Odebear, still have Bergvall or Xavi, Kudus and Porro.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I think that...
With Moani up top.
I think it makes more sense. And as well, Spence is better defensively. So you've got... Defensively, we're probably going to be less of a liability. And then going forward, the only problem is, because Spence has so much energy, he can go forward and then you're not worried about him getting back in position. Whereas maybe with Porro you are a bit more. But
the only thing is because when Porro plays the deepest, he helps with the build-up.
And that's also another
playing ability. Spence doesn't have that. Yeah,
that's also another thing. Like he's got that ability to play long-range passes as well. So that's also something to think about. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind giving it a trial. I think maybe it'll work better if we got Romero.
Yeah, 100%. We need Romero back. 100% we need Romero back to do that kind of thing, because you just can't give up Pedro Porro's ball-playing ability at the back.
Yeah,
we need
right
it.
now. Yeah, it's true.
So anyway, that is the match review. Let us know your thoughts on the game in the comments section below. We're going to move on to player ratings. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 0. We're going to start off with Antonin Kinski. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 4. I thought he was pretty poor from both goals, particularly the second one. I just don't know what he's doing, why he's rushing out and getting nowhere near the ball. You've got to be doing a lot better than that. As a starting keeper for Tottenham Hotspur, there were things I did like, mainly his ball-playing ability. That was one throw. That was just crazy throw down the other end of the pitch, pinpoint. So look, he's very confident with the ball at his feet, but he needs to be getting better as just a general goalkeeper. Yeah,
I thought his passes into Richie as well much better than we've seen in recent weeks. I actually think Richie was able to make it stick a lot more than he has in recent weeks, because the distribution into him was so much better. He, as you said, he set up an attack for Bergvall, but yeah, unfortunately the goals we conceded, I think both of them, the first one, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but does the top keeper save it? I think there's an argument to say yes. And the second one is just terrible. It really is. It's a bad mistake. You should never be coming out in that position. There isn't even a lot of power on the cross. And if you come out, you can't allow a striker to beat you in the air if you're a goalkeeper. You can never, ever allow that to happen. And he got nowhere near it. It wasn't even like he was close. He was almost punching Voltmader's chest. That's how low he was on that punch. So that was terrible. Unfortunately for him, there were other couple set-piece situations where he dealt with well. He came out and claimed, didn't he? So, the other situations he did quite well, but the one that mattered, he cost us a goal. And that was a big moment in the game. Very big moment in the game.
Yeah. Pedro Porro up next. 6s all round for Porro. Yeah, look, captain on the day. I think, I genuinely think, like, the thing that he did most in this game was complain at the ref. He was always shouting at the ref, wasn't he? Always. But look, I thought defensively he did okay. Going forward, I don't think there was much there for him, but I think he handled himself quite well on that right-hand side. I don't have too many of a problem. It just wasn't a standout display.
Yeah, I thought he did all right going forward. I mean, he set up a good chance for Rishi, a couple of chances for Rishi, I remember, from crossing. And that moment where the move, which started off, I think he played a ball into Brennan, who headed it into Bergvall, who put it across the face of goal. So that was quite good. There were a couple of moments where Barnes looked like he got the better of him, and maybe he allowed too many crosses in from that end. But by and large, I think he dealt with Barnes pretty well. So, yeah, a pretty average display. But I thought, yeah, he's okay.
Kevin Danso up next. 6s all round for Danso. The moment that really frustrated me with Danso was the moment we gave away that corner, because Kinski's shouting at him, telling him, look, I've got this. I'm in clear control of the situation. But then he puts out for a corner quite needlessly because Kinski was right there to pick it up. So communication's got to be better there, and maybe Danso's just got to be listening to his goalkeeper a bit better. But yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought playing out the back was fairly frustrating from Kevin Danso. But yeah, I thought he defended okay for the most part, and maybe he was one of the men that should have picked up Shah in the absence of Spence.
Yeah, and the second goal as well came from him playing out the back, didn't it? And making a loose pass. So that wasn't great, but he did make a hell of a lot of clearances on the day. There was that one moment as well in the second half, he charged, beat Gordon to the ball, and then went for a finesse shot, which I was like, oh my God, is Danso going to score a worldie here? But shot didn't quite match the intensity of the tackle. Yeah, I think it wasn't a bad game. I think at the end of the day, you look at it and maybe he could have done better with both goals really. But again, it's difficult for him. He's playing with a makeshift back line. His partner's Paulinho, Kinski's in goal. It wasn't an easy day, but I think he did okay.
João Palhinha up next. 7s all round for João, obviously in an unorthodox centre-back position. I thought he did really well, to be honest. I thought he looked like the strongest guy in that back line from a defensive standpoint. He was wriggling away from attackers really well. He looked a bit press resistant at times. And I thought as well, like he was doing kind of Romero impressions at times, stepping into the midfield and doing quite well with it. So I was really happy with João Palhinha yesterday. Yeah,
and there was one moment he turned into a prime right winger, didn't he? And he beat his man, got a ball across the face of goal, but Rishi wasn't able to hit it home. But yeah, I think as a midfielder playing at centre back, I think on the ground he was great, and he was confident on the ball. Played to actually look quite progressive, playing some good forward passes. There was a couple of moments where he got a pirouette to get out of trouble. So I think he did well. I think he kind of left the clearance duties and headers away to Danso. He didn't get involved too much in that. So I think he did his job, filled in quite well.
Jed Spence up next. Him gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I did mark him down a little bit for the corner, where he just takes too long to tie a shoelace, gets caught out of position, and Newcastle score from the corner. But I think from his general gameplay, I thought he looked really good. One of our better players, handled that left-hand side really well, was getting forward well. He just seemed to wriggle his way out of so many different situations and kind of set us up on attack. However, I did feel like as well, a lot of the times where he did wriggle out of those situations, didn't have the pass to back it up.
Yeah, I feel like, again, him playing a left-back, I think he was one of our better players, just in general, in terms of the amount of times he's coming out on top of in a duel and how many times he's not getting beaten in a one-on-one. He's making the tackles. I thought Elanga really struggled against him. I think he had Elanga in his pocket. I think in build-up,
No penitentiary. Is he part of the penitentiary?
He should
Elanga?
be, but we lost, so I don't think there is any penitentiary. But he should be, because I think Spence really did have him locked up. The frustrating thing with Spence going forward is he's got so much athleticism to get into the right positions, but because he's just not got a left foot, it just really hampers not only him, but us as a team. And when he's striding forward centrally and he's bursting into the central area, into the space, he looks really great. He opens up the game. But when he's bursting down the left-hand side on the touchline, it always kind of stops. And
he always has to check back.
He always has to check back, and he usually ends up going directly backwards, or cutting inside and trying to play a ball in between the lines, and never really is able to create an opportunity himself or do anything himself because he doesn't trust his left foot, and it gets quite frustrating. But his athleticism keeps getting in him in those situations, so it does stretch the opposition, but we can never really do anything with it, so it becomes quite frustrating. But I thought on the day was one of our better players.
Rodrigo Bentancur up next, 6s all round for Lolo. Obviously didn't have his partner in crime next to him in midfield this time in João Palhinha, as he was sitting in front of him, but I thought he did quite a decent job trying to protect that defence all on his own at times, and I felt like he was missing that kind of João Palhinha next to him to really provide that kind of real second line of defence in front of the back four. But, there were times where he was wriggling his way out of situation. It wasn't a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it was nowhere near as good as what we saw at Everton.
Yeah, showed decent composure. There was a couple of times where he had 3 players behind him, but he somehow found exactly where the space was and he was able to wriggle out of it. I thought he had a pretty decent game in difficult circumstances. Yeah, I gave him a 6.
Pape Sarr, 5s all round for Pape. It was a weird display from Pape because I felt like at times you just didn't notice he was playing, and that's just not what you associate with a Pape Matar Sarr performance. Usually, you definitely know he's there because he's non-stop running, non-stop hustle and bustle, getting involved in the game, and I felt just like he was a bit of a ghost, or he just vanished out the game at times. But I felt like in the moments where he got himself into the game, actually he showed quite a bit of quality at times. So unfortunately we didn't see that anywhere near enough, so that's why he gets a low mark.
Yeah, nearly scored. Well, probably our closest we did get to scoring was him, but unfortunately those moments were few and far between. He didn't really get involved enough. I think in the first half, there were moments where he was getting on the ball and he was playing kind of not the easy pass, but playing very quick, sharp passes into the number 10s. So that was good. But unfortunately, he was playing on the periphery, I felt, especially off the ball as well. We didn't see him at all off the ball here in this game. He was kind of just bypassed, which isn't like him.
Yeah. Xavi Simons. Simons gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I thought it was a step in the right direction for Xavi. I thought he started the game really, really rusty. There was that one pass that just was completely behind Spence, I think it was, and it goes out for a throw-in, and you're thinking at that point the game's kind of opening up and he's got to play a good pass. But, as the first half wore on, he was getting more influence in the game, and I thought in those 20 minutes at the end of the first half, he was central to a lot of the good work that we were doing. Wriggling himself out of situations, putting good passes on, creating space, picking up the little pockets of space outside the box. So I was really happy in that 20-minute period with Xavi. In the second half, I think the moments were kind of few and far between, but when he did pick his moments, I thought he did fairly well at times. But I want to see more of the same of what we saw in those last 20 minutes, because I think that was kind of like the best 20-minute display we've seen from him starting.
Yeah, and I think as well the fact that obviously we're quite reliant on set pieces when he's picking up a lot of those fouls, isn't he? And he's wriggling away from players and they're picking up yellow cards as well. So that has quite a good value. I think he was picking up some really good positions, and unlike against Everton on Sunday, I think he was doing a lot more with them in this one. Was picking up the right passes. I think that moment where we talked about with Sarr, he was really good play from him, had the presence of mind, hold the ball for that extra second, a bit of composure, pick out Sarr on the layoff, and obviously Sarr nearly scored from that moment. I thought he was, creative. I know I think he's got so much quality, so I know he's capable of so much more, but I think it helped him that he had someone to play off, a few players closer to him on this occasion, and I think the performance was better.
Brennan Johnson up next, 6s all round for Brennan. I think, he was a bit of a live wire at times out on that right-hand side. Created a few moments and opportunities. Maybe the cross could have been better at times, but at least he was impacting the game and getting himself involved and, laying on a few chances for Richarlison.
Yeah, and I think in this current setup in the last couple of games, he's been a lot more involved. He's been getting on the ball a lot more. I think in general play, he's been... I don't know what it is. Maybe he's less isolated, but it seems he's got more options. He's actually capable of taking the man on, not like relentlessly, but on occasion. His crosses across the face of goal were quite decent. An inch to the left or an inch to the right, and he could be having a... he could have got an assist to his name. He should have really. Obviously, there was one moment where he shanked across, didn't he? And it went straight out of play for a goal kick, and that was obviously a shame. But I think Brennan, maybe he's building his confidence, but I kind of liked his performance. I think he's getting more involved in... He's not like... I feel like in other games, that right-hand side is just a black hole when he plays there, and it hasn't been that in the past couple of games, so that's good.
Yeah, it's good that he's not totally anonymous, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And Lucas Bergvall up next, 7s all round for Lucas. I thought he was our best player in the first half. I thought he was brilliant, really impacting things out on that left-hand side. Like I was saying with Javi, a lot of the good things that we were doing in that first half, he was central to it. But I think, he was even more. Like, he was proper making an impact, hurting the Newcastle midfield and defence. I felt like they didn't really know how to handle him. He was faking to go one way, going the other way, taking it past players, showing real quality at St James's Park in the first half. And I thought as the second half kind of progressed, he kind of did tire out the game, but I was very happy with the levels Lucas showed, and I think it's been a lot better than in recent weeks because I don't think he's shown his best self for the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
I think he had a good performance this one. What I love about Bergvall is just that when he's gliding past you, it's almost like you can't stop him, and I think he did a really great job doing that on a number of occasions. I don't know whether this left-hand side thing is going to be his future, where we've seen him. It was interesting. Given the lineup and how we're building up, you expected Javi to be the one on the left and Bergvall to be on the right, but he went for Bergvall on the left. It kind of worked. I think Bergvall did quite well, and he was kind of popping up in different positions anyway. Unlucky not to get an assist when Richarlison didn't quite read his pass at the end of the first half as well. But I think there was times where, that midfield of Newcastle really couldn't handle Bergvall, and he was doing some really good stuff on that side. Yeah, I think it was a much better performance than we saw in the last game against Monaco.
Yeah. And, last but not least in the starting lineup was Richarlison.
I actually gave him a 5. It says here I gave him a 6.
Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 4. It was just really frustrating because he could have been the difference maker in this game, and he had a couple of chances laid onto him, a couple from Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side where he just didn't read the run properly. There were times where he was picking up the ball and holding it up quite well, but that's as much as it came to. And you've got to give him credit for getting in the right positions, but you've got to finish the ball, man. It's just so frustrating because most of our good chances all fell to him inside the box.
And he keeps falling over in the box, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's a bit annoying. That's really annoying.
And it's just really frustrating that... I think if Moani starts, someone that can just put the ball in the back of the net, then we might not lose this game.
You could say maybe Moani doesn't get in those positions, though. You never know.
Potentially.
So it swings around about. So I would say Richarlison, he took the brunt of the criticism yesterday because pretty much all our best moments fell to him and he couldn't put any of them away. And that was really frustrating. In terms of real gilt-edged chances he had, there was probably only one, you would say. I mean, depends if you put the other two where he was inches away down to him or down to the passer.
I think one of them was definitely down to him. The one where he was just a bit too in front, like he should have held his run there.
Yeah,
he waited for the ball to come.
I think the defender distracted him, obviously. I think because Dan Burn looked like he was going to touch it. He ended up not touching it, and then Richarlison ended up being ahead of the ball rather than just holding his run. Look, I think as a striker, you've got to anticipate the worst thing happening in terms of you've got to anticipate a mistake or something like that. And Burn obviously misses the ball when he probably should have cleared it, and Rishi should be tapping at home in that, but he ended up being ahead of the ball. The other one, Johnson's pass was slightly ahead of him, couldn't quite stretch. I think there was another one though where there was one where Paulinho was whipping the ball in, and Rishi just went to ground for no reason. Stay up and try and get something on it. That was frustrating. He just keeps going to ground for some reason to try, I don't know, sliding and stuff like that. What I would say about him is I felt like his general play was a lot better in this game than it has been in other games in the recent last few games, where he's kind of not been able to hold the ball up at all. And this one, at least he was buying some fouls. He was actually holding the ball up a lot more, bringing other players into play a lot better than he has been, like a bit more like how he was doing at the beginning of the season. But he's our number 9, and he's got to stick. And that big chance, especially the header at the end of the first half, he's got to be sticking that in the back of the net, or at least making the keeper make a good save. Like, it was straight out Ramsdale. That was really poor. So that was really frustrating. And he did have numerous chances. I think, he's got to put one of them away.
Substitutes, Kolo Muani, 6s all round for Muani. Again, I saw some stuff that I really liked from Muani. Very energetic. I thought him trying to hold up the ball looks decent. It all comes down to that run, doesn't it? It looked like he was on the way to score an absolute worldie, taking it past the whole of the Newcastle, ripping through the heart of the Newcastle team, only for the ref to tackle him when he was mid-stride. So that was so frustrating, because you never know what could have happened at the end of that. And if he goes and scores that, you're talking about one of the best goals we've seen.
I know, but he got tackled 30 yards from goal, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, but look how far he travelled with it.
I understand that, but it's hard to say he would have scored when he was 30 yards out.
No, I'm not saying he would have scored, but imagine if he did.
Yeah, I guess. But
you just never know what could have happened.
You never know, but it's hard to say that was an opportunity when he was 30 yards from goal.
But I mean, when you're taking it past 2, 3, 4, however many took it past, and you're in a good of a stride as he's going, it looked like he was... he just ripped through the whole heart of them. He was doing so well.
He had a good run. He made a good run, and he was really unlucky that the referee tackled him. But I'm not going to say the referee stopped him from scoring a worldie. But
might have done.
Might have done in like a 1% chance, I would say, at that point.
1%, you reckon?
Yeah. What, from scoring from that position?
I mean, maybe he wouldn't have scored, but it would have opened the game up for us, and someone could have made a run in behind, and you never know what could have happened.
It wasn't really a chance, but it was unlucky. But I agree with you. I don't know. I didn't see much from him on the left. He had a couple of moments.
I like him in the 9, though.
Yeah, definitely like him in the 9. But again, I like what I'm seeing, but he just hasn't really been enough of a goal threat. And so I need to see more from that, from him, which is maybe I'll come with a bit more time. But I don't think he's had a shot as a Tottenham player yet.
Yeah, hasn't had time, though.
So he's had a few minutes. I'd like to have, one shot is what I'm asking for. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So I want to see him be more of a goal threat. But I do like what I see from him.
Yeah, me too. Mohamed Kudus up next. 5s all round for Kudus. Yeah, I just felt like we're all pining for him to come on, and he came on and just didn't really impact much. The biggest highlight was him getting in that fight with Joe Linton. Apart from that, I think he was, marked out the game, to be honest.
Somehow he got booked for, same as Joe Linton did, which I thought Joe Linton could have easily been sent off for that challenge. I wasn't... he couldn't really get to grips with it, could he?
No.
Unfortunately. It was just... he came on and couldn't really get to grips with the pace of the game. And I also think there was a moment pretty much once Newcastle had Tonali, Joe Linton and Guimaraes on, Spurs themselves couldn't really get out their own half, so all of a sudden he was struggling.
Yeah. Thomas Frank up next. Him gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. For me, a lot of people saying, they want to see Spurs attack a bit better, go through the central areas. I think he's tweaking things. I think it's starting to look a little bit better. Obviously, it didn't over the course of the 90 minutes. And look, we deserve to lose. And he's our manager, so he's got to take the brunt of it. But there were moments in the game where we looked really good. And hopefully he can take that, learn from it, build on it, and we can carry on going in the right direction. But the reality is we're at the Cup. We deserve to lose. In terms of the lineup he picked, I don't have too many problems with it because, players need rests and we've just got a non-stop schedule. So look, it is what it is. The goals that we conceded, I can't put down on him. It was just individual errors in my opinion. So yeah, I don't think that he could have done much to stem the tide yesterday.
Yeah, he just hasn't really got us up to speed just yet, and it's not a criticism of him, it's just the reality. I think we did all right. We played at times quite good. At times we were, I think the first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes we struggled to get out of our own half, and we were, really second best. But there were periods during that game where it was even, and we were playing some good football, and we were unlucky not to score. But unfortunately, wasn't enough of it. We were second best on the day. We weren't great, overall. But there were periods where you saw some little flicker of positivity, so that was good. But for me, look, that's what it was. It wasn't like anything amazing. It was good. There was some good moments, but we ended up losing 2-0, I think, fairly, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, so that is our player ratings. 2-0 loss against Newcastle. Next up, we're going to go and see how the internet did react to the game yesterday. And Solana Prince says, I'm in tears. Kinski has been here for less than a year and has single-handedly knocked us out of 2 competitions. I dare anyone to try and hype up this hologram again.
Single-handedly, yeah, I mean, yesterday it's hard not to be very critical of him, I think, for that, especially that second goal. What competition are you talking about? The Villa game?
Yeah, FA Cup last year.
Yeah, that was also an absolute howler, wasn't it? Absolute howler. So we've always said that's something, he's got. What's interesting about the second one, though, is that's not something I've seen a problem with him since he's come to Tottenham, is that coming for crosses and things like that. He's actually looked quite good at that. And even yesterday, I thought he looked quite good at that. But he just got that all wrong yesterday.
Should we have started Vicario yesterday?
Well, he apparently couldn't because he had an injury problem.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, you're right. So we had to.
Bench, so.
Should we have started Brandon Austin yesterday?
Maybe, but I wanted to see Kinski have a go, and I think we saw what Kinski is all about. Like, he had some really good distribution. I thought his kicking was actually really good. I was actually really impressed with that. But unfortunately, if you're going to make those mistakes, you're not going to get any game time.
Yeah. Regista just gives us a few laughing emojis. There's Joe Linton trying
Look how he chops him there, Joe Linton. That could have been a red.
I tell you what, though, Joe Linton gets away with murder week in, week out in the Premier League. I don't know how he gets away with it. Like, literally, I've seen him do some disgusting challenges and just get nothing for it.
Always against Tottenham last year, he should have been sent off, remember?
Yeah, multiple times against Arsenal, I've seen it.
It's ridiculous. Why do referees not, take notice of this guy? So frustrating, especially when you're an opposition fan. And then Kudus ends up getting booked for it somehow.
Yeah.
And how is that situation? Kudus got the same punishment as Joe Linton. It's crazy.
Madness. I thought Kudus was going to lose the plot at one stage yesterday, though. Look
at that challenge. I mean, it's a horrible challenge.
Yeah.
It really is. Look at that. He kind of scissors him. It's horrible.
Madness. Absolute madness. Manx Pie says Joe Linton realising it's Tottenham and no VAR.
That's literally how it felt. And we had him with VAR. Honestly. He just doesn't give a crap, Joe Linton.
Mr. Black saying, this result isn't particularly important. It's the Mickey Mouse Cup, but generally speaking, this is the least engaged I've been with Tottenham in an extremely long time. Absolutely nothing about this team excites me. The football's bland, and whenever we do play well, we get 10+ injuries. There isn't an ounce of individual quality in the way we had with Kane and Son, which could inspire a game and will give us belief. Even the shit players that kept things mildly amusing in bad times, like Emerson and Brian Hill, are gone. Really, really struggling to care at this moment. It's incredibly dull. But then he does say, I would like to add, if we beat Chelsea at home on Saturday, I'll be instantly sucked back in and fully coyed for the rest of the title charge. I mean...
Is that not an extremely pessimistic way of viewing our current situation?
That is like speaking of a guy who is just saying, he's saying he doesn't care because it's the Carabao Cup, but he clearly cares because he's writing this tweet at the final whistle.
Do you agree with anything he's saying there?
Not really. I mean, I don't agree with him saying it isn't particularly important because I do think it's important. I think it's a trophy we could have realistically won. To say that nothing about this team excites him, I mean, when you're looking at our forward options, it's hard to disagree, but I think there is a lot of things in this team that excites me. I think it depends what you look for in football and it is excitement. If you're just looking at the attacking players to get bums off seats and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, I can see where he's coming from. But I think we're building a decent side here, so that's what excites me.
Isn't that the most exciting thing of a team, is the attacking players?
Yeah, of course, but it's not the only thing.
No, but that's what's exciting about football. Usually, is dribbles and goals and things like that.
But also winning.
Yeah, winning's great, and winning's also exciting. I agree, but that when you talk about play, when you think nostalgically of all Ginola, you think of him. You don't think of Justin Edinburgh. I mean, R.I.P. But you don't think of.
Why would you go from Ginola to Justin Edinburgh and not like
defender
Ginola to like Jan Vertonghen?
Huh? Jan Vertonghen. I'm talking about just like what excites you. Yeah, in fact, Jan Vertonghen was a good defender, but does he excite you more than thinking about Dele Alli or
Not
Eriksen?
more, but he still excites me.
Yeah, but I'm saying those are the players we enjoy thinking about and watching. You don't watch you very rarely go back and watch a compilation of a defender.
Just because attacking players excite you more, don't get me wrong, I agree with what you're saying, When you're thinking about exciting football, you're thinking about, attacking football. But just because we don't have the attacking players right now, does that mean that nothing in this team excites you? No, it doesn't. I think there's still a bit to be excited about in this team.
Can we not? Is there no world where these attacking players start clicking?
Of course, but we can't get excited about them until they do.
That's fair.
So that's the reality. That none of them have really clicked. How many goal contributions have we got across our whole front line? Not many. They need to step up massively. That's the reality. What else is the thing that made me laugh the most in this tweet is that even the shit players that kept things mildly abusing in bad times, like Eberson and Brian Hill, are gone.
Richarlison doesn't keep things amusing?
No, he keeps things frustrating, man.
I see. So we'd rather have a no-look pass out of play than what Richarlison's serving up.
Then getting close to looking like he's going to score and then not score. Yeah,
what was amusing about Brian Hill?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Maybe he looked. That was nothing amusing about Brian Hill. We never saw him.
Yeah, literally. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know what was amusing about him. What about that? No individual quality. There's not an ounce of individual quality in this team.
If you're talking about the forward players, I would say the only bit of individual quality that we've seen is from Kudus.
So there is an ounce.
An ounce, yeah.
There's an ounce.
How many ounces do we need to make a good team?
Yeah, I just think that everyone's... Look, at the end of the day, I know we're in November now. We're getting close to November. But it's still so early on. Like, give Frank time to work with these attackers. And he's supposed to be a player a manager who can improve these attacking players. So I don't see why he can't work with what he's got at the moment, like, and improve them. I'm not saying he's doing a bad job not improving them. I'm just saying he hasn't had enough time with them. I think. Yeah. And they haven't had enough time together. Like, Moani has started one game and he only played 60 minutes. We haven't seen Solanke yet. Kudus is still new to the team. Javi's still new to the team. Like, we've got to give it a bit of time.
Yeah. We've got no option but to.
Yeah, but I think people writing, like, he's basically written all these attackers off already. I'm just saying, give it a bit more time, more than 9 games.
Yeah, I think it's just born out of frustration after, what we've seen from these attacking players so far this season. If they suddenly start to click and Frank gets his message across to them and they start doing well, then everyone's going to be behind them again.
I understand, but I think a lot of it as well is we've had a lot of struggles in how we've, that's why Frank's had to tweak it, because we've had a lot of struggles in how we've building up and getting the Playton in the right positions. I think last couple of games that's been better, and I know even yesterday they missed chances, but that's only the second game we've seen with these tweaks. So let's just give it a bit more time.
Yeah, but like I said, there's just no option but to give it time. So
obviously there's no option, but I'm saying he's written them off. I'm saying let's just not write them off just yet.
Yeah. Spurs Army says the 2 that tried to run away, and I think Tell was the one who did. What's this all about?
So you go scroll down one more tweet.
So Spurs Army says, whoever just legged it straight down the tunnel should never wear a Spurs shirt again, and the fact that 2 other players tried it also is embarrassing. 5,000 fans come to support you in Newcastle on a Wednesday night. The least you could do is try and clap us. Vile. Who was it?
So he's claiming, looks like Jed Spence and maybe Moani, maybe. Trying to go down the tunnel. I think he said Tell already went down the tunnel after the game. Maybe they're disappointed with the loss. Obviously you should always go over to the fans and clap them, especially on a Wednesday night. There's a lot of trouble, but maybe he's a bit going over the top saying if you never wear the shirt again. That's a bit much, but
Yeah, I
it's not
mean,
great though. It's not a great look.
if Tell is one of them, I mean, Tell was one of the only ones to front up to the fans last season out of the whole squad. So,
Talk to the fans. Not
yeah,
just,
exactly. So, yeah, look, it's not great when players don't come and show their appreciation to the fans. It's also very hard to show your appreciation to the fans at St James's Park.
yeah, it's also true.
You're like a million miles away. But yeah, you never like to see it, and players should always go over and clap. But some players just get very frustrated at the final whistle after a poor performance.
But never wear the shirt again.
Nah, that's rubbish.
Bit much.
Rubbish.
You can be annoyed and pissed, but never wear the shirt again. It's just, all right, let's calm down a bit.
Yeah.
He scores a goal, you're going to be back on his side again next game.
I learned my lesson after these sweeping statements after my Romero statements last season. Spurs Army says, Vicario, I owe you an apology. And I think a lot of people are scrambling to give Vicario an apology after the last 2 games he served up and Kinski yesterday.
Look, you got to say, Vicario has been absolutely amazing the last 2 games. And yeah, Kinski, look at this, just nowhere near it. He's nowhere near the ball. I mean, he's like, if he would have punched it, look how low like he would have punched it. He's not even high off the ground. Like, you're a goalkeeper. How have you timed it so wrong?
Yeah.
Like, Voltmade is not even that much off the ground.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
To be fair, Voltmade are not that much.
I
off the
know,
ground.
but
It's still bloody big.
Still, he's a goalkeeper. You can use your hands.
Yeah, I know.
Like, and obviously Danso's also in his way. I'm not saying it's Danso's fault. I'm saying you've got Danso also to. That's probably why he didn't get.
It's just
to
a
it.
rush of blood, wasn't it?
Yeah,
just a rush
terrible.
of blood. Solana Prince says, no working man should have to spend their free time watching Richarlison and Johnson. Honestly, clubs should be fined for subjecting fans to this garbage.
So the club should be fined every time they field Richarlison and Johnson in the starting 11.
Yeah, look, as much as I like them too, and Johnson's forever going to be a legend for the cup win, and I do feel like with the gaps, with the quality that we need in the forward line and on the wings, I feel like them two are probably the first of the fall guys.
I said before the season, if Wisak and Jard consider selling Johnson, because I just think he was such a beneficiary of how we played, and he's not getting in those positions anymore, is he? Those tapping positions. And I don't know. Obviously, we don't know if we play to it like we were so much last season. So I think if we're not going to get him in those positions regularly, then that's obviously a big problem.
Yeah. Next up is Kevin A saying, if Richarlison was a dog, this is what he'd be doing.
Brilliant. That kind of reminded me of Rishi yesterday. Just missing it every time, not reading the flight correctly at all.
So frustrating. RO Sports Memorabilia says Bruno Guimaraes seemed happy to give the referee a clap for his defending.
Yeah, that really pissed me off. They were just smiling and laughing about it, like, so.
Even the ref was smiling and laughing about it.
Like, oh, I just stopped the counter. Sorry. I'm like, fuck you. Oh, like Bruno clapping him, like, good defending, ref. Well done.
Yeah.
God, so frustrating.
THFC, what a run from Kolo Muani. So this is the run we were talking about before. But you see what I mean, yeah? If he gets past Joe Linton here.
I mean, he could have been running straight into Sharp, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but look, he gets past Joe Linton here. If he keeps running, and who's that player over here? He makes that run on the outside. You know, it could be in and goal there.
Yeah, potentially. Look, I'm not saying it wasn't
a really good opening.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it wasn't a promising attack. I don't know if it stopped Moani scoring a worldie. Is my point.
It could have stopped us scoring a goal, though.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I agree with that. It stopped us with a really promising attack.
One of our most promising attacks of the whole game.
Yeah.
Harry Scarf says, for those that may be interested... Oh, okay. I think that's it. Big up Harry Scarf, though. But yeah, that is it from us today. That is how the internet reacted. We'll be doing our Prem predictions on the ball later on today, so go and check that out. But thank you, everyone, for sticking with us, and we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.